Hello, all you happy people. Old Man Robertson here. Today, I'm doing some much needed maintenance on my lasers. I have neglected cleaning these modules for a while, and as you can see, there's a lot of soot and ash buildup. I've been using them pretty hard and trying to get a bunch of stuff made, and you can see how dirty they are. It's like I said, I've neglected it for far too long, so I'm going to go ahead today, and I've already removed them. As you can see, I brought them out to the building. I'm going to fire up the air compressor and just blow them out a little bit. You don't want to use a lot of pressure. 25, 30 pounds should be plenty. But I'm going to blow them out real good, and then we'll get back to it in just a minute. All right, we got them all cleaned up out of the air compressor. I've brought them back in. This is the module for the 5-watt Creality Falcon. It's pretty good shape. This one here is the 40-watt module for the Falcon 2 Pro. And as you can see here, I've been cutting a lot of pine and really sappy stuff on this one. So there's a lot of crusty buildup on it. We'll see if we can get rid of that. And this is the module for the XTool D1 Pro 20-watt. There's a lot of soot on it. Been doing tumblers and things like that on it more, so it's got the ash and everything. So we'll get them took apart just a little bit here. First thing you do to remove this shield on the one for the XTool, you take 2 screws out here. And these screws are different lengths, you'll see in just a minute. And try to remember to put them back in the same spot. And now, I forgot to take the air assist nozzle off. So we'll take the wrench that XTool sends you and just loosen this fitting up, and take this little elbow off. Sorry, I'm working left-handed, so I'm a little bit slow. I'm not left-handed. And then the clear plastic shield just slides right off. On the 40-watt, that nozzle right there just simply unscrews, and that gives you access to the lens. Oh, and I also forgot an Allen wrench that XTool sends you and Creality sends you. And they loosen that little set screw and pull the nozzle off there. And then you try to keep your cat from playing with the screws and parts that you've laid down there. This is Bubby Fett. He's a Mandalorian. I know. Bubba Fett wasn't a Mandalorian, but he had the Mandalorian armor. So, just let us have our cat puns, okay? And now for the fun part. I'm just using regular old rubbing alcohol here. I got the red label. That's just what I have laying around. Get these nozzles cleaned up. Get some of that crust off of this one from the sap from the pine. And here I'm using the little wrench just to scrape some of it off, because that stuff is on there. If you do a lot of softwoods like pine, cedar, you're gonna get some sap when you do your engraving and your cutting. Especially, I believe it's worse on the engraving, where I don't use the air assist as much for the engraving. For the cutting, you've got the air assist blowing through it and blowing the smoke and the sap and everything away. But with engraving, where I don't usually have the air assist on, it just floats right back up and vaporizes that sap, and it sticks on everything. It makes a mess. but I'm just trying to get everything I can off of there cleaned up. And then there's the nozzle for the XTool D1. And then I like to go back and take a cotton swab. I got those at Harbor Freight. You can use a regular Q-tip and just wipe the lens off real good. I like to wipe it off good and wet with the alcohol, and then go back with a dry one after just a minute and dry it back off. Then it'll air dry. By the time you're ready to use it, it'll be fine. Yeah, just a little bit more to get into the cracks and stuff on this shield. These little light shields, they get very dirty, and the cleaner you can make them, the easier it is to see your beam, your spot, or your crosshairs in the case of the XTool, and get everything lined up when you do your framing. And you'll thank me. You just be sure you clean these shields real good. It makes a world of difference, so you can see that spot. And then we'll reverse the process and reassemble it. Put the nozzle back on there. And then the shield. Remember which side the short screw and the long screw went on. Snug those up. Put the fitting back in. Tighten it down and make sure you've got it pointed to the top of the module. And then for the 40-watt module, screw the nozzle back on. And this is the Falcon 5-watt. You just lift the machine up until you can get to it. You got the 2 set screws there on the side. Clip the little wire on, you're done. For the Falcon 2 Pro, same kind of setup with the set screws on the side to hold it in place. And you see I hooked up the air assist, and then now it's cable management. Plug the power cable into the control module. It is a bit fiddly. Then snap the cable in to the clips that are on the rail. Then take these little Velcro strips that Creality supplies. Then there you go, cable management. And on the XTool, you've got the dovetail. You just slide it in. And one thing I like about the XTool is that little thumb screw there. And then around the back, you just slide the cord into the little holder and plug it in. And there's the air assist. Normally it'd go in that hole on the top. Alright guys, there you have it. All 3 lasers clean, set back up and ready to go now. So that was much needed, a bit overdue. I do not recommend going a long period of time without cleaning them, because it does affect the performance, and it affects the life of them too. As they get gunked up like that, it really takes a toll on the equipment. The modules can overheat, and that'll burn up your lasers and your diodes, and you also won't have as good a performance out of the machines. They won't cut as good, they won't engrave as good, and it'll take longer to get the same results. You'll have to slow the machine down because it just won't be burning as hot. So, hope you found that informative, and we'll see you next time.